Howdy, y'all. Welcome to today's presentation, which is 5 ways to use cattails for survival. Let me preface this with a couple of things. First off is if you're going in the outdoors, you should always have your 10 essentials of hiking or survival. I want to think about it. That includes food and water. Even if you're in a bug out situation, the most likely you're doing a bug out is because of some kind of natural disaster. I live in Dallas, so my thinking is more like people who live in Houston. There's been a hurricane, they have to evacuate. Uh, and if in that case, you should be carrying with you at least 3 days worth of food and water with you. Even if you, for some reason, had to hike out somewhere, you should be able to still carry a couple of days worth of food and water with you. But let's just say you're starting to think through what if I was caught in a kind of worst case scenario? What could I use for survive? So that's what we're thinking about cattails. Um, and so cattails are really this really incredible plant. And what's and I tell people, like, if you're thinking about, hey, I just want to learn about foraging for survival, uh, people always come to mind things like fruits or nuts and berries. But I tell people, like, start with cattails because a couple of things. One, cattails are easy to identify. Nothing else in the world looks like an adult cattail. They have that cigar-shaped top. Second, and we'll talk about this in more detail in a second, is, or in the next slide, that is, they're always going to have water. They're always the only creature near water. Also, remember, never ever eat anything you're foraging unless you are 100% sure of what it is without having to consult the guidebook or the internet. If you have to go on the internet and ask somebody what this plant is, don't eat it. But back to our topic at hand, cattails. According to Foraging Texas, which is my favorite website for learning about foraging foods, and even though it's called Foraging Texas, most of the plants there you can find across large parts of the United States. Cattails are edible. Several parts of cattails are edible. In fact, the tubers, the shoots, the male part of the plant, and the pollen are all edible. Also, like I talked about, cattails mean water. Cattails only grow in fresh water. So if you find cattails, it means you have found fresh water. Now, you still need to make that water safe to drink. Boiling it is the best answer or best option always. But if you've got a filter with you, whether it's a Sawyer or a Grail, something like that, you can filter the water to make it safe to drink. And look, so if you've got water, you're going to be able to survive for a very long time while you're waiting on rescue. But also, because you have water, cattails, because we found cattails, it means we found water. That also means we're going to find fish, frogs, snakes, and even insects to eat. I know some people are going, ooh, that's gross, we're going to eat bugs. Hey, first time somebody grabbed a lobster, someone had to say, that's got to be disgusting. But, lobster tastes good. So the next thing is cattails are not just good for food. Cattails have other uses for us. It's why they were used by ancient societies. So they also can be used for shelter. The stalks, we can use them. We can weave them together. We can build shelter with them. You can even weave baskets together. And then eventually cattails developed this fluffy type material. It's the end stage of life for them. And as far as I know, they're the end stage. I'm sure if that's wrong, somebody will correct me in the comments. But anyway, at some point in time, a cattail is going to get this fluff. And this fluff is a lot like cotton. And thus, we can use this fluff for a fire starter. It makes great tinder. We could also use it for insulation. If you were making a shelter, needed to add cover up a draft, cattail fluff would work well. Or if you were needing to make a sleeping pad and you had a sack or a garbage bag, you could fill it with this stuff and would help further insulate you. But just keep in mind, this stuff can irritate your skin. Do you ever find yourself sick of eating the same food over and over on your camping trips? Well, if you've ever reached that point, I got a solution for you. Head on over to funcampingmeals.com. I've compiled a list of 101 easy camping recipes, completely free. You don't even have to give me your email address. Just head on over there and find something else to try out in your next camp out.
Thank you for watching. If you're wondering who I am, I'm Mark Wilcox. I once backpacked 100 miles in 90 days. And I was inspired by the fact that after 25 years in IT, I decided I wanted more adventure in my life. And I love to take the knowledge I have about the outdoors and use that to help inspire and teach others to also add more adventure to their life. Again, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.